everyone, welcome to our Crazy Life Scotland and the next in my series of teacher gifts. Today I'm going to be making coasters using this set that I'd actually just recently got from Amazon. I'm going to do them in 4 different ways. So I have got some powders to dust with. That's chameleon powders, this is chameleon flake. And I'm going to be dusting 2 of the moulds with these, so one with each of them. And yeah, the flakes I'm not usually good with because they make a mess, but we'll see how I get on. This is actually chameleon paint that I've not used yet, and this is gold foil. So let's see what we're going to do with these. So first of all, I'm going to prepare the mould, and I am going to use the chameleon powder first, I think. So I've just got a makeup brush here, and yeah, it's a powder. I'm just going to take some of this and brush it onto the mould. You want to make sure that you get it right up the edges and in the corners and all the rest of it. So what I'm going to do is I will speed this bit up for you. Once it's all covered, I just dust any excess into the bin. So I put that aside and I am ready to move on to the chameleon flakes. These things, oh, I usually make quite a mess with that, but I'll see how I get on. But I want to clean my little makeup brush first so that I'm not getting any of the other stuff in it. And I use this little Hello Kitty sponge thing. It's meant for like your makeup, and just give it a good scrub around on there. And yeah, it helps to clean your brush. I've moved the other coaster out of the way because I don't want any of these flakes getting in there. And I'm just going to do the same as I did with the powder, but you really need to make sure that you burnish the flakes into the mould. I must say, I do like the finish that the flakes give. Look at that. You know, when you burnish them in properly, it really does give good coverage on your mould. I just make a mess with them. I'm not good in small areas. It was actually quite good using that big area. So again, I'm just brushing off any loose stuff, and then we're moving on to our next one. Doesn't that look really cool? I do love the finish it gives. Right, anyway, let's put that one to the side and we will move on to our next coaster. Now I'm going to be using the gold foil on this one, so it's a bit different to the powders. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to dot bits of the foil over the mould, and then I'm going to rub it in using my brush, sort of burnish it in. But I don't want full coverage, I just want it on certain bits. So I'm just using the same brush again, just to rub it down really quite hard so that it actually sticks to the mould. And I do that for the bits that I've got in there, and then I just add other bits and do the same. And I want to put some on the edges as well because it's going to be clear resin going in here, so you're going to see it. So I just keep adding little bits of foil and burnishing it in, and I will speed it up for you. I'm happy with that, so I put that aside, ready for our next coaster. So for this one, it's going to be slightly different. I'm going to try to coat it in this, what's the word I'm looking for? Chameleon paint that I got from Temu. It's just a normal acrylic paint, but it has got a nice chameleon look to it. So I've got a paintbrush here, and I'm just going to gently try to paint it on, and I think that it should go on no bother. No, that's not the case. I do mess about with it for quite a while, and I think maybe I just need a couple of layers, and you know, maybe I need a bigger brush, so I'll try a few things. It doesn't work, but I will speed it up and let you see how it looks. And at this point, I'm thinking, this is never going to work, just give up. So I decide just to take some water and a cloth and give it a clean. I just know that no matter how many layers I put on here, it's not going to work. It's definitely not going to give a nice even layer. I do try again, but no. In the end, I end up just taking some water and a cloth and giving it a clean look. Even using a thicker layer, it just doesn't work. So I will come back to you once this is cleaned up. It's nice and clean now, and I decide just to leave it as it is, and I'm going to add the paint into the resin and try it that way. So here are the 4 coasters ready to move on to the next step. I'm going to mix up my resin and come back to you. So I mixed up and debubbled 80 mils, I think, of resin, just the J Diction 4-hour 1-to-1 resin. And I thought that would be plenty because I just want a thin layer in each of them. But I didn't realise just how big these moulds actually are. So I do need to make up some more, but it's all just clear just now, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to add to each of them. I split my resin up into different cups because I want to add different things in for each. So I just put sort of around about 20 mils into a cup. And I can't remember what I'm going to add to this one. Is this the white? Yeah, I'm just going to add some white pigment paste to this because chameleon flakes and chameleon powders look different if they're backed in white resin or black resin. So I thought I would try one with white and one with black. So I've got my paste here. You need to give it a good stir because it does separate and you don't need a lot of paste. So I'm just scraping most of it off my stick and I'm just going to use what's on the stick to stir into the resin very gently. Once I've got the colour that I want, I put that stick to the side and use my normal stir stick, and that way there's not going to be more paste keeping coming off the wooden stick. So I have a good stir, I have a look at it and see whether I'm happy with that or not. And the best way is just to take your stick out and let it drip off, and you can see roughly how it looks. And I am happy with that, so I'm going to pour that one into the one with the chameleon powder. This is when I realised that was nowhere near enough resin. So I just add some more resin into the same cup, add a little bit more of the paste, stir it up and then top up the mould. Now I'm going to want a black base for 2 of the coasters, a black resin base. So what I'm going to do is the cup that's got the resin in it, I'm not going to split that, I'm just going to make that black. So I have got some pigment dye here that I'm just going to put a few drops into the resin and mix it up until I've got it the colour that I want it. And then I'm going to pour half of it into the mould with the chameleon flakes, the green one, and then I'll come back to you. So I wanted to make sure there was enough resin left in the cup. So with this one, I poured a small amount in. I'm just tapping it and sort of moving it about to make sure that it does cover the bottom. And then we're going to go on to this coaster that I did try painting the chameleon paint in that didn't work. And this is where I am going to actually add the chameleon paint to the resin. So I've got black resin there, I've got my chameleon paint, and I'm basically going to just do what I did with the paste and the dye. I'm just going to take a small amount of the paint on my stick and I'm just going to add it into the resin, the black resin, and then stir it up and we'll see what it looks like. And I like the colour that it's turned out, so it looks like you are going to be able to use the chameleon paint the same way as like just a paste or even a powder, just add it into whatever colour resin you want. So I'm just making sure that this is nice and full. I'm going to then make sure there's no bubbles or anything coming to the surface. I'll pop any that do with a long neck lighter, and then I'm going to make up some more resin for this last coaster, typical, and I'll be back soon. Right, I've got some more of the same resin, I've just degassed it, and what I'm going to do this time, I'm not going to add any colour into it. What am I doing? Am I adding colour? Oh, it's the Marabou alcohol ink. The rainbow alcohol ink. I forgot that I added that. Okay, so I am adding some of the rainbow alcohol ink, and then I am going to add some more of the gold flakes that I put on the base. I'm just going to actually put it into the resin and give that a good mix up. And let me tell you, it's not easy to put this stuff into the resin because it's staticky, it goes everywhere. I'm trying to use my, what are they called, tweezers, but oh my goodness, what a mess I make. I will spare you the agony of watching it. It doesn't matter if you put it in quite big because when you stir it, it does break down. So there's no point in really trying to break it up before you put it in. But I will speed this bit up and let you see it. Basically, all I'm going to do is put in the foil, stir it up, and then add it into my mould. I've got slightly too much resin, so what I'm trying to do here is to take the gold leaf out of the resin so that I've got as much of the gold in the mould as possible, just so that it doesn't get wasted, basically. Can't remember what I do. Oh, I do. The excess, I think I pour into the head of a pocket hug mould, and you will see that in a future video. So anyway, that's what I've done. So the resin with the rainbow alcohol ink, just to give it a bit of sparkle, and the gold foil is now in that coaster, and all I need to do now is leave them to cure, and I will come back to you once they have. It's the next day, these have all cured, and I'm now going to move on to putting my stickers on. So I have got these UV DTFs, and I'm just trying to figure out what ones I want on each. I do like the colours of that, how sweet it is to be taught by you, compared to the colour of the base on that one. So I'm going to use that on that one. And then I'm having a little look to see what else I want. Obviously the black, I don't want too much black in the sticker, so I decided to use that one in the black, I think. Yep, I'm just going to cut that out. And I like this one for, I'm trying to decide between the two of them, but I go for that one, for the one with the acrylic paint in it. And the one with the gold foil, I like the bee one. Thank you for being a great teacher. So I decide to use that one for that. So I'm just going to cut these out and then come back to you. And when you actually cut the DTF stickers out, you're best to try to get as close to the image as possible, and that way you're not having to take too much of the sticky outer layer off your resin. It just makes it a lot easier. So cut it as close as you can. Right, I am ready to put this sticker on here. So with UV DTFs, you want to take the white bit off the back first of all. So just take something pointy and get it started. And take the white bit off of the back. Just be very careful that you're leaving all of your sticker on the clear layer. You don't want any of it to come up on the white bit. So just do it nice and gently, just in case. There we go. And then to make sure that I get it positioned where I want it, you've seen me doing it before, I take some greaseproof paper and I put that over the majority of the sticker so that I can use that to position it. It won't stick where the greaseproof paper is. So this is where I want it. So the bit that's not got the greaseproof paper on, I burnish that down to the resin, and then I just very gently take the greaseproof paper out, and then I, as carefully as possible, burnish the rest down. Just make sure that it's definitely all stuck down. Go over it quite heavily with your fingers. And then once it is, you just want to lift the clear layer off the top of the sticker. So I'm trying to find a good place to start. Then I'm going to very gently start peeling the clear layer only off so that it leaves the actual sticker on the resin. You need to be very gentle. You need to be patient, which isn't my strong suit, you know that. And you want to basically pull it off as gently as possible, but as close to the resin piece as possible, if you know what I mean. Don't lift it off at a 45, at a 90-degree angle. You want to get as close to the resin as possible, and very gently, because if any of the sticker comes up, you do get a chance to re-stick it, but you need to notice it at the time. So there we go. I'm just very gently taking that top layer off and it's leaving the rest of the sticker on. I do love UV DTF stickers, but they can be a bit fiddly. So that's us just about there. There we go. That's that one done. And thank you for being a great teacher. I'm basically just going to do the same with the rest of them. So I will do that off camera and then come back to you. They're all on now, and I have made up some more of the same resin and degassed it. And I don't think I add any sparkle to it, do I? I maybe do add a little bit. You know what I'm like, I can't resist. Yep, there we go. It's the Marabou Rainbow Alcohol ink again. I'm just going to add a tiny bit to that, just to give it a little bit of something. And basically this layer is just to seal the stickers in. That's all we're doing, and we're filling up the moulds with it as well. So I'm gently stirring the alcohol ink in. I am then going to pour it into all of the moulds, try to dome them as much as I can, so basically get as much resin in as I can, and then I'll come back to you. You might have noticed I ran out again, but thankfully I had extra resin made up anyway, so I just used some of that. And I am now basically just going round making sure any bubbles are brought up to the surface. Then I give them a squish of alcohol, but look what I've done. A rookie error. Basically, if you dome something and then squish it with alcohol, it will start running out your mould because you break the surface tension that is stopping it from coming out your mould in the first place. And this resin does go everywhere. Ah! Typical. So I use a long neck lighter to pop the bubbles in the other ones because I have made that mistake and I'm not going to do it with the rest of them. So I'm just going round popping all of the bubbles. I tried to clear up some of that overspill, but I eventually give up. Think, Fiona, it's not going to stop. Just leave it. Just let it do its thing. It's resin. It's going to do what it wants to do. Right, so I'm just going to cure these and I will come back to you for the next step because we're not finished. A couple of them need some more work. They're going to be a bit different. See you soon. Right, these are all cured now, ready to unmould. So this is the one that the resin did run everywhere. So we're going to have a fair bit of overpour. Look at that. But yeah, we'll get rid of that. Don't worry about it. What I'm going to do is, I did try to use my fingers, but it had been curing for quite a long time and it is thick. So I found it quite difficult. So I took a pair of scissors and I just gently snipped away at the excess resin with the scissors, like so. Then I use my deburring tool to get off the excess that is still left. So just very gently, because you don't want to gouge into your coaster. So you can use a blade, but I would end up cutting my fingers off. So I always use a deburring tool and I get rid of as much of it as I can. Then I take my nail file and just smooth off what is left. As simple as that. And it does scuff it a little bit, but I'm going to be putting a layer of UV resin over it anyway, so I'm not too worried about that. It's not a perfect finish. I could put it back in the mould and put some more epoxy on it to give it a perfect finish. But it's made with love, not perfection. So I'm quite happy with the way it has turned out. Let's unmould the B1 now. And I can't remember if there's much excess on this. I don't think so. There's little bits of foil, but they just come off like that. And I am happy with the way that's turned out. And look at the back of it. It's really nice. I do think it's worth putting the foil on the mould as well as in the resin. It just finishes it better. Let's move on to this one. Look at the sparkle from that Marabou Rainbow Alcohol ink. I love that. So I'm just unmoulding this. And there's no excess, it's lovely, and look at the back from those chameleon flakes. It's so smooth, it is just lovely. I really like it. I think at this point this is definitely my favourite. I can't remember if it turns out to be my overall favourite or not, But yeah, I've got the flakes up the sides and everything as well, so I'm really, really happy with this one. This one has a whole load of resin under it because that's the stuff that flowed off the other one, but I don't chuck that, I keep it. I use up all my little bits of resin. So let's unmold this. This is the one that had the chameleon paint in it. Oh, look, I have got a bit of excess on that. But I do like the way the chameleon paint has worked in the black resin. I think that's really nice. So I would definitely do that again. And with this one, I decided to really try and use my fingers, and it does come off. It's much easier if you can do it that way rather than going down the scissors and the burn tool route. So, yep, I managed to get that off okay. Was that the one that overpoured? No, it was both of them, I think. I think I made the mistake with both of them. Anyway, I'm taking off the excess and just going to do exactly what I did with the other one with the nail file, and then I'll come back to you. Now this one's a little bit rough and scuffed at the edges where I've used the nail foil. So to clear that up, I'm just going to use this UV sealer. It's meant for nails, but it's brilliant for little areas like this. And you basically just paint it on like nail polish and then use a UV torch or UV lamp to cure it. So I do that right round the edge of this. I will speed it up for you. And while that is curing under the lamp, I'm going to add a little something to two of the coasters just to make them that little bit different. So the one with the bee, I am looking for a little bee charm, and I'm not sure whether I'm going to use this one or this one. Yeah, I think I like that one. I'm going to go with that one, I think. And now I'm going to use the little nail spinner things that I got from Temu for the first time. So you can just about see that little gold thing. It's not wanting to focus in on it because it is tiny, tiny. Here it is. So this little gold thing here is a nail spinner, and you stick one side to your resin and the other side to your charm, and you will see the effect. Oh, look, it's so fiddly. It's so small and fiddly. Anyway, I decided to use some super glue. I use the B7000 super glue, and I just put a small amount on the sort of biggest, flattest piece of this spinner. I don't know if that's the right way or not, to be honest. I've never used them before. So I just put a bit on there and I leave it for a couple of minutes for the glue to get tacky. I'm sorry that it's out of focus again, but it does come back into focus. Don't worry about it. It's because it's such a tiny little piece, I think. So I'm just letting that go tacky, and then I'll come back to you. Right, now I'm just going to take a pair of tweezers, lift it up, and very carefully, oh, I need to be a contortionist, I'm going to pop it where I want it on the coaster, which is just beside the little bee. And yeah, it's all fuzzy. This is meant to be a really good camera on this phone, but it's actually not. Anyway, all I'm doing is sticking it in place, pushing it down, and then I want to leave that there for a good sort of half hour, I think, to make sure that it's on properly. Then I take some more of the B7000 super glue, put it on the little charm. Oh, 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 oh. It's flying away. It's flying away. And then I pop that onto the nail spinner. Sorry you can't see it, but you get the idea. You know what I'm doing. Hopefully the next one that I do will be more in focus. So that is all I'm doing there. And I am going to put it completely to the side and let it dry because that glue can take a wee while. And let's move on to the other one. So that how sweet it is to be taught by you, I'm just going to do the same again. I am going to put some of the super glue onto the nail spinner part. Wait for it to get tacky, and then I'm going to use my tweezers to put it on where I want it. Thankfully, it's not very blurry this time, so you can see what I'm doing. So I want it at the edge of the coaster because I want them to be able to put a cup or something on it without that being in the way. So I put it quite close to the edge, and then I'm going to let that dry while I decide what charm I'm going to use. Sticking with the sweet theme, I have got these little lollipop charms. So I'm going to take one out that matches the coaster pretty much perfectly, the colours of it. So I am just going to get that out just now. There we go, I've poured a few into my tray and I think this one is just perfect. Look at the colours. Now I need to decide how I'm actually going to stick it onto the spinner part because there's not an awful lot of it to stick on. The stick's very, very thin. So in the end, I don't stick it like standing up the way like I first tried, if you know what I mean. But I do stick it by the actual ball of the lollipop sideways. You'll see, you'll see. So more super glue onto there, and then I'm just going to take my little charm and stick it the way that I want it. Oh, that's right. At this point, I stick it by the stick rather than the actual lollipop part, but I soon realised that it's not going to stay on there, so I end up using the lollipop part instead. So I'm going to let the glue completely cure on both of these, and then I will come back to you and show you the next step, which will be the final step. Woohoo! So in true Fiona style, it turns out that I seem to have forgotten to record the next step, but all I did was put a thin layer of UV resin on top of both of the coasters that I had put the little charms on, just to basically smooth them off and to make sure that the nail spinner was completely in place, stuck in place. So now for the reveal, let's have a look at these. Our first one, a teacher takes a hand, opens a mind, and stop moving Fiona, touches a heart. This is the one that I touched up the edges with that UV glossy sealer, and it is the acrylic paint one, and I think it has turned out lovely. It's really nice. You could colour the edges with a gold pen or something, but I don't think it needs it. This definitely is my favourite. I do love it. You are awesome. And I just love the sparkle in the alcohol ink, and I love the colour of the chameleon flakes. Look at the sides and the bottom. I really do like this one. Definitely one of my favourites. I wish I could use the chameleon flakes more often. Then the next one we have got is How Sweet It Is to Be Taught by You. And look at the lollipop spinning. Isn't that really cool? I just think it's brilliant. Obviously it is delicate, you need to be careful with it, but there is the other side. So that was a chameleon powder, but with the white resin rather than the black. I do prefer the black backing, but it does turn out nice like that as well. And finally, we have our Being a Great Teacher. There we go. I know it doesn't look very clear here, but you can see what it says in real life, and you've got your little bee on the edge there as well, and that spins, and yeah, there we go, that's the bottom of it, and I think it has turned out lovely. So there we have our 4 teacher coasters, with a bit of a twist, having the little spinny bits on it. It just adds that little bit extra, and I really like them all. I think the You Are Awesome is my favourite. What's your favourite? Let me know in the comments below. I do like being able to spin these things though. Right, if you've enjoyed this, please hit the thumbs up button, talk to me in the comments below. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in our next one. Thanks everyone, bye!